Good morning, everyone. My name is Louise Island from Clarity Crafts here in the UK. Welcome to Groovi Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a bit of an overcast day here at Clarity Towers. It's not very sunny, but at least it's not raining, so that's always a plus. So come in, everybody. I can see all of our lovely friends are coming into the room now. Got myself a nice cup of tea. Hope everybody's got a nice hot drink and is ready to spend an hour getting groovy or just having a chat in the comments. It's nice to see everybody's comments come in sometimes. Lovely. Good morning, Nikki. I hope everybody is doing well out there. So we've got a couple more weeks left of our project at the moment. We finished creating our little gem last week, so we're going to do a bit of grid work this week. So the lovely Jane is in the room with you today. So if you have any questions, she's there to help. And also she'll filter through anything that I need to know through to the phone. So hopefully the sound is all good and we can get cracking. So it's quite a warm day today. It feels warm out there. I've got a couple of layers on, probably not a good idea. I think it's getting out of that middle of winter feeling now where you think, oh, I don't need as many layers on now. So yeah, good morning. Everybody's coming in. Lovely. Sound is all good and Jane has a coffee. I've got a cup of tea. I've never been keen on coffee. Don't know why. I think when I was a carer, one of a nice gentleman that I used to come in and do some ironing for him and his wife, and so I'd do some ironing and he'd come in and say, oh, would you like a cup of tea? So I say, oh yes please, 1 sugar if that's okay. And once he came in with a coffee, bless him, he must have put about 5 or 6 teaspoons of coffee. I'm like, thank you so much. But no, it was a good job. I used to like doing care work when I was younger. It's you get to meet loads of different people. It's so much fun. But I'm grateful for my job now. Definitely doing something that I love. So lovely. Everybody is coming into the room. Allergic to coffee, so sticking to tea. I don't blame you. I think sometimes it's just stick to what you like, really. It's a shame because I like all, when you go into a coffee shop and you see all of these lovely, the coffees look so nice and so decorated, you think, oh, I wish I liked coffee so that I could drink one. It looks so aesthetic. Wonderful. So all of our lovely friends are coming into the room, so brilliant. So a couple more weeks left on this project. So I'll just show you the project that we have been doing. Let me come in a little bit closer. There we go, that's better. So this was the one that we were working towards. And so far, we got to this stage. So if you don't want to do any grid work, you don't have to. You could put another decorative corner in there if you wanted to, or leave it blank. It's really up to you. I've just done a little bit of grid work because I thought it'd be nice. I haven't done too much grid work in the last Groovi project, so I thought it'd be nice. And then in the little bits here, we're going to cut those out as well. However, if you're not at the stage of picot cutting, you can create the grid work, but just don't cut out the little, they're like little stars. Don't have to cut it out. You can leave it just with the perforating in. And the same with this. If you're not at that stage where you're focusing on picot cutting yet, you could just cut around it and it's a really nice edge. So it's a good little card to do for different stages of your journey. So whether you are at that stage of picot cutting, and if you wanted to do one that looks similar to mine, then that's what I've done in there, is I've picot cut all of that out. Yeah, I must admit, I prefer it in blue. Yeah, I think the blue's pretty. So yeah, I'm glad that, you know, that was everybody's input. So it's I think we did a good job there. Everybody gave me different colours to do a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, team effort, that one. I really like it. I prefer it to the first one I did. So, and I like glue, so that's always good. There we go. So yeah, so we can get cracking into our diagonal grid work. So I've got my platemate and I've got the diagonal grid. So you need the diagonal grid to be able to do this type of grid work. It's like a little honeycomb grid work. I quite like the style of this one. So I'm just going to line up so the one line of dots is straight. So if I come in a little bit closer, so there's just a row of dots just underneath that line, because I don't want it to be wonky like that. So, I mean, you can do it wonky like that. There's nothing wrong with it. There we go. Just trying to get my eye in. So I've got my Groovi stickers. So good thing about just make sure it's well stuck down, because you don't want your grid work to move, because a little bit out and it puts the whole grid out. So well stuck down like so. So I'm just going to, with my tumble dryer sheet, go over the areas where my grid work is. There we are, just like so. Then I'm going to bring in my number 1 and number 2. Yes, we did the gem last week, Nahid. So if you wanted to have a look back on last week's one, I actually learnt my gem from Tina. Kind of the way I did it, I learnt from Tina when I think one of the I went to one of her workshops and she did a gem then. So and also, if you are a member of the Groovi Club, funny enough, well, I can't say too much because I don't know if everybody's received their March project, but if you like gems, then March Groovi project is a good idea. Dane and I didn't plan it, but we seem to have both done some gems. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've done 3 dots, and then I've kind of worked down diagonally. Okay, so I'm going down 3 diagonally. Reminds me of Harry Potter, diagonally. So we're kind of making like a little honeycomb design. So 3 on each line, so 3 across, 3 diagonal down. So what you're left with in the middle will be like a little flower design, which we can cut out, or you can leave perforated with just this little design here. So then once you've done that, you can bring from the sides out, you can bring your 3 dots like that. So now it's like a little aeroplane. So you bring 3 across and then 3 diagonally down. You can see where we're, and then work your design around. So then that leaves you, there you go, 2 like that. And then that one will be relatively easy to just fill in like so. And then you start to build it up, you see. So it's a way of, once you've got one, you kind of know where you're going from there. And you're just making a nice little honeycomb design. No, I can understand that. If you have migraines, grid work and tool work isn't the best thing for migraines. However, things to make it easy would be a light wave or a magnifying glass. I mean, I do suffer from headaches quite a bit, so I do have to, I tend to walk away from doing too much grid work in one go. So, for example, an hour is more than enough for me to be focusing on grid work. That's why I suppose a lot of us have lots of different projects to keep us occupied, because it's easy just to go on to another project, think, oh, you know, I'm starting to see loads of little dots going into one. I'll give that a rest, and I'll, I do find a lot with grid work as well, what I tend to do, just because obviously my eyes are very weak anyway, I do tend to close my eyes quite a bit when I do grid work. Obviously, don't make sure that you, especially if you're using a one needle tool, don't close your eyes and then, but yeah, I tend to close my eyes quite a bit when I'm doing grid work, as long as I'm, reached a place where I don't have to concentrate on when the next dot is. If I'm in a little break and then I close my eyes for 30 seconds, and then that tends to kind of like right my eyesight a little bit. But we all find our ways of working our way through things. Yeah, grid work is lovely, but it's a good idea to take breaks. I mean, the good thing as well is if you have one of our lovely plates that's got the grid work already designed for you, at least you don't have to concentrate too much like you would on a grid that you're creating yourself. So that's always good. And I think there's so many lovely, I think my favourites are usually Elizabeth and Charles. I really love those. And the Palace ones are really lovely as well. I mean, they're all really, really nice. But it's hard to decide on an absolute favourite. I suppose it just depends on what day it is. There you go. So before you know it, you've done quite a few and you haven't realised. Yeah, if you've got those kind of migraines, then it is about doing little bits and pieces. You don't want to do too much in one go. Yeah, migraines are awful. Seems to be one of the many side effects of having fibromyalgia sometimes is all the migraines. But I always find ways around some of my migraines. I mean, they're not as bad as some migraines. I tend to have varying levels of headaches. I think the worst one sometimes for me in the mornings is when you wake up and you feel like you've been hit in the face with a cricket bat. Not that I know how that feels. I don't. But if I ever had experienced it, I expect that's how it would feel. Yeah, the Victoria plate's nice. Yeah, the Victoria grid's really lovely. Okay, so I'm going to work my way across over this side, I think. There you go. So we're getting there. Just going to have a sip of my tea. I'm doing really well with my no sugar kick. I've stopped drinking Coca-Cola and I've stopped eating donuts, which is a plus. I'm having vegetables and hummus for my lunch, so that's good. No sugar in my tea anymore. So I'm doing really well. I'm getting there. I do feel better for it. I don't feel so sluggish. I think it has helped with pain levels as well. So that's always good. But yeah, I have such a sweet tooth, so has been a little bit of a challenge, but it's been a good challenge. I've realised I actually do have some willpower somewhere, somewhere hidden. 2 teaspoons of raw sugar in my 4-shot espressos. I'm not surprised that you would need sugar in an espresso because they're very strong, aren't they? But yeah, I don't have gluten because I think that makes fibromyalgia pain worse, or at least it makes my fibromyalgia pain worse. So yeah, no gluten. So I feel like I'm doing quite well. I always feel quite positive around this time of year. I tend to eat better and healthier, and I'm drinking more water during the day. I have at least 2 litres, which is okay because I don't mind water, the taste of water. I know not many people like the taste of water, but I don't mind it. So yeah, drinking more water, all positive changes, all really good. I was quite impressed because on Saturday, after doing a week of no sugar and everything, I went to my dad and Jen's this weekend, and we went round a place called Earlswood Lakes. It's really, really lovely. It was really beautiful. I mean, we couldn't go too far because we didn't realise it was going to be so wet. It was a lot of mud. So we literally just walked around the lakes. But yeah, it was really pretty there actually. Loads of swans and ducks and geese there as well. I think Rowley was looking at some of the ducks because I think he was putting 2 and 2 together, you know, because he did try a little bit of duck a few weeks back, and he must have been putting 2 and 2 together. Dogs are quite funny because I think he was a little bit curious about this. He kind of went to go up to, it was about 3 or 4 meters away from this goose, and this goose literally just hissed at him. And I think he thought, oh no, I'm not going there. So I get given food, I don't need to find it. He's a little dachshund, so he thinks he's a Rottweiler. Bless him. It's so funny. We watched a program the other day where there was a dog barking on the telly. He was sitting by the fireplace, and he had to come up to protect us on the sofa and bark at the dog on the telly. You know, he had a need that he felt like he had to protect us. Either that or he was the one that needed protecting. But he's adorable. So funny. I do love dogs. I think they're so quirky and funny. I don't think there's really any animals I don't like. I love my cats. The first night when I come back from my dad's, both cats like sleeping on my bed. I think it's like, oh, thank goodness you're back. Now stay here and we can sleep on your bed. They don't do it every night. I think they just like to make sure that you realise that they've missed you. And then the next day it's like, oh, we're used to you again. It's all right. I do think it's cute when I come in and they greet you at the door. I think it's so cute. See, my cats they're so funny. The good news is it's getting into that time of year now where there's a lot more that needs to be done in the garden now. So we've got big plans on Saturday. I've got to do quite a bit of tidying up, because we tend to leave all the leaves around and everything. We decided this year we're going to have like a little herb garden, mainly for the guinea pigs and the animals to eat the herbs. We're growing our herbs for the animals, not for us, just for the animals. So that's what we've decided to do this year. So we'll see how that goes. But there's a lot of sorting out that needs doing this. I mean, it's a couple of weekends worth really out there. But we'll all go out there and we'll be quite busy on Saturday. Well, our guinea pigs like parsley, so definitely parsley. They also like rosemary. What else do they like? One of our rabbits used to love lavender. We'll probably grow some lavender actually, because lavender is really nice. You can just take a sprig off, and if you've got a headache or you want to sleep, then just put a little sprig on your pillow. Sorted. So yeah, just those ones mainly. Nothing too major. Just going to have a sip of my tea. But yeah, I never went to Ellswood Lakes before, so that was really nice. It's always good to go to new places. A little honeycomb design is taking shape. And you've got the last quarter left now. Oh. Yeah, I was always told that lavender helps, but if it triggers your migraine, it is quite a strong smell. So I'm not surprised it probably triggers migraines. We tend to have like a little lavender diffuser in the living room when we have headaches. But yeah, it's quite a strong scent, so that's probably why it does trigger headaches as well. Well, I had a parcel come with some rosemary essential oil the other day, and oh my gosh, it stinks. Although Luna takes to trying to get behind the bed, and she comes out with like a little nose for lots of different bits and pieces. And so I was going to put the rosemary behind my bed so she doesn't go under my bed so much. But yeah, it's a very, very strong smell. Really strong. So, sorry, I didn't see that before now. There's 2 newbies on Groovi Tuesday today, Jackie and Jean. Hello and welcome. We have a really lovely community here, so it's good to have you with us. And listen to me ramble on, doing a little bit grid work. Yeah, lavender usually helps my headaches, but yeah, sometimes it's got quite a strong scent to it, so some of us may not like it so much. It's nice to see you, Megan. First time here for Megan as well, all the way from Australia. Wow. Isn't it amazing, the internet? How we can see each other, like speak to each other from way across the other side of the world. No matter where you are. And I've nearly finished my grid work. So I have closed my eyes occasionally. There we go. Ta-da! It's always good when it meets up and it's exactly the same. There we go. So that is the back of the grid work. So the nice honeycomb design. So I'm going to take off my little sticker tabs. Then what we can do, I'll show you the front. So if you wanted to stop at that stage, then you could, because it still looks nice. There we go. It looks pretty like that. So if you didn't want to perforate in the middle, then you don't have to if you didn't want to. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line up. I'm going to try and line up using my wonky eyes. Yep, looks about right. Quick before I move it. Okay, so stay planted there. Thank you. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to not pull my hair out. That's for one. Yes, that would look very, very nice on a blue background. I think that's what I would do. So like with this one, I've put the colours with the pinks and the reds. And this one I would put blue behind. I think that would look really nice. So I hope that didn't move just then. Know me. Okay, so I believe I just did this. I'm going to do it again. There we go. So tumble dry sheet is lubricated the front of the parchment. I'm just going to come in with my 1 needle bold, and I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to perforate my, now a good idea I've just had, I didn't just have it, I just forgot to put it on. There we go. So I've got my Pico foam on top of my black mat, hard side up for the black mat. I'm just going to rejig to find this straight grid. Okay. And hopefully, yeah, that's still good. So, got my Groovi guard to keep everything in place. So what the Pico foam is going to do is it's going to give me a nice amount of room underneath so I can fully perforate. Like so. Then I won't need to come back and re-perforate with the grid work, which makes life easy. There we go. So I'm just doing the little flowers in the middle, or it could be little stars. And just working my way through. See, and this would look nice if you wanted to stop at that stage and just have the embossing and the perforating. If you just wanted it like that, that would look absolutely fine. If you wanted to keep on going and Pico cut it out, that would look nice too. Lots of options. Oh yeah, so national days today. I was looking on this morning. So apparently it's a National Mario Day. So if you're a Mario fan, today's the day. Isn't it funny what they make days out of? And it's International Bagpipe Day as well. So if you like your bagpipes, today's the day for that too. I quite like bagpipe music sometimes. I like it in, for example, like Scottish music, when you hear it in the background, that's really, really lovely. Like with like Outlander music or something, it's I quite like the sound of it, you know, in the background of songs. So yeah, so Bagpipe Day too. International Day of Awesomeness. So if you're awesome, then today's your day. Well, we're all awesome. We like groovy. There you go. Also, in America, it's it's National Harriet Tubman Day, and she helped enslaved people in America escape the South, yeah, escaping slavery. So I think in 1990, George Bush created or accepted Harriet Tubman Day. She was born in 1820 and yeah, escaped where she was being enslaved in 1849. Then years later she came back and she helped save her niece and her children, and she was responsible for planning helped save about 600-700 enslaved people with the help of the union as well. So, amazing woman. So I was learning a little bit about Harriet Tubman this morning before work. It's always good to learn new things, I think. So, working my way. There we go. Just working my way across, making sure that my Groovi sticker tabs do not pop up. And sometimes I tend to move my Groovi guard into the sticker tabs and they peel off with the Groovi guard. Quite a nice little grid, this. Jane's been researching inky techniques this morning. It's always good to learn new things, new techniques, especially when it's your passion as well. Always good to keep on learning. That's why there's so much knowledge in the world. So see, I think, is that as close as yeah, that's as close as I get. But you can kind of, you can kind of see where I am now. About here. About here. So yeah, there's lots of different national days today, to be fair. That was quite a long list. Yep, that's a good reason to keep on researching inky techniques. So refresh your memory on things you did ages ago and haven't done for a while. Ooh, mosaic crochet, that sounds interesting. So there's always new things to learn. Always. New ways of doing things. Apparently as well that today is a Festival of Life in Cracks Day, which apparently means that life that comes in through the pavement, where you think, oh, it shouldn't really, but it does, it finds a way. I think that's why I think they always say, you know, even on your worst day, if you think life's bad, it doesn't, because life still springs out from the strangest of places. I always remember when I was a little girl, you know, little children's mind, how they think that they're saving daisies from their grandmother's lawnmower by picking them. But, yeah, you know, I was saving the daisies from being completely mullered into oblivion by picking them. And then I put them in a little vase and I put them on the windowsill. But, I mean, at least it saved them from being completely torn into pieces. But I was a funny little girl, really. I used to save things Save little insects or something. I used to save, when I was a little girl, I used to save the snails from my grandma as well. I was saving all these little insects from the garden. Or saving all of the little daisies in the grass. Yeah, I didn't have, because I was early 90s, luckily I missed the childhood on social media. It was probably one of the last decades of children that probably enjoyed the outside. I was always outside. I was always on my bike. I was always in the garden with the cats. Out with the other neighbourhood children. I couldn't really sit still when I was younger. I was one of those children that if you gave me sugar, I was a bit hyperactive. The only time I used to sit still was to do any kind of art. Yeah, I wasn't always a academic person when I was a little kid, but I used to love art. That made me happy. Still does. Isn't it funny how I think if I thought when I was younger that I'd have a job doing something I loved doing when I was younger, I'd have thought, no, can't. Couldn't do that. Yeah, I did. And I enjoy it. There you go, so just do my little side part there. Almost there. Funny enough, when I remember when this is quite good, seeing as it's Japan month here at Clarity. One of my first crafts that I ever saw, it was in like a haberdashery shop. I was about 17 or something, and it was like these little gold peel-offs that had like in the shape of a kimono, and then I'd stick them on like Japanese paper, and then I'd cut out the little kimono and then I'd put it on a card. That was my first kind of dip into any kind of crafting, like for card making. But yeah, I think at that time we didn't have Sky, so I didn't even know that there were crafting channels or anything at that point. Otherwise, I would have been watching it a lot more. But I always remember the first time I saw Clarity's stamp on telly. I think Barbara was showing off the outline stamps, that have the big O. I think it was a Noel, and Barbara was creating a scene inside the O and then using a post-it note and then creating the scene on the outside. I thought, oh, that's such a clever idea. I never thought of that before. But yeah, it was the first time that I ever saw a Clarity stamp product. I thought, wow, that's so clever. But yeah, amazing how life turns out, isn't it? got my last corner of my grid work. It's getting there. So it does look nice with it just perforated as well. So never fear if you're not at that stage of picot cutting, or even if you just don't want to picot cut it out. If you're thinking, well, I want to picot cut all the outside out, but I don't want to picot cut this out as well, you could leave that. But yeah, I used to like doing scrapbooking as well. I made a really lovely scrapbook once. It's kind of all pictures of my little cousin when he was born and stuff. So that was fun. So I always enjoyed art. I mean, I was quite lucky because my art teacher, you know, never put me off of art, but I know they probably tried, you know, because when you have art that is graded, I don't agree with graded art, because art has always been subjective. Whatever art you look at, one person will look at that and go, oh my gosh, that's so clever, that's so innovative. I was trying to see how that word came out. And you know, I didn't think of doing something like that before, that's amazing. And then somebody will come along and go, oh well, it's just a little bit of paint on a painting, what's so special about that? So I always think art isn't really something that should be graded. But I think that's why probably when we're younger we get put off a lot, and we find crafting later on in life when we actually figure out that actually it doesn't really care. I don't care what other people think. I'm just going to do this for me. And if nobody likes it, that's their problem. So we tend to, you know, did anybody have an art teacher that was actually really like supportive? Or did you have an art teacher that kind of put your artwork down a little bit? Because I got a B at art, and you know, it's only you had to follow strict ways of doing things with art, which is probably why I didn't get an A, because I didn't really like following the way you should do things with art. There we go. So that is all perforated now. Let me see if I can. Let me take all of the stickers off. There we go. Make sure I put them back on the sticker sheet, because otherwise I find them in all sorts of places. It's not good. There we go. Okay, so I don't know if maybe if I move it around here, you might be able to see it better on number 3. Oh, hello. Where am I going? This way. There you go. You can see it a little bit better there. So that's all of the perforating done. So it looks okay like that. If you wanted to leave it like that, it looks absolutely fine. It looks nice. At some point I'm going to picot cut that out. Oh, it's a shame. I'm not allowed to do art after the first year of secondary school. Yeah, I suppose they didn't think of it as academic. It's hard because they think of, I was never very good at languages. I had to take a translator book with me when I went to Spain, just to order things. I liked to order and try and speak Spanish when I went to Spain. At least I tried, but I was never very good at it. I found that sometimes with languages you have to have a good memory, and I don't. So that's probably why I wasn't very good at it. So yeah, so that's the grid work. So I'll picot cut that at the end. But first of all, I'm going to start perforating all of the outer parts as well. So for that, I'm going to start off with the straight grid, only because I'm going to use my one needle. Yeah, I have great respect for anybody that can speak 2 languages. I think it's so clever. I can't. I've tried, and if you don't use it, you lose it. I always found, with me anyway. Even if I learned, you know, a few little things, by the following year I would have forgotten them and have to relearn them again. Maybe that's just me. There we go. So what I'm going to do is because obviously there's a lot of straight line here, so it doesn't appear wonky, I'm going to use my straight grid, level it all the way up. I'm just going to use my straight grid to do the nice straight parts. Like so. Then I know that it's going to be nice and straight and not wonky. So I'll do all the way along. Okay. To move this up a bit so everybody can see. There we go. So this makes life a little bit easier if there we go. So it's all the way along down there. Okay. Oh yes, thanks, Clive. Yes, Jean. If I see the comment, I will answer if I see any questions. Although if I'm looking down at the grid work, sometimes I miss some comments because I can only see 2 comments in a line at the same time. So if anybody ever does any questions and I don't answer, I promise I'm not ignoring you. But by the time I've looked up, your question might have disappeared. Wow, your godson is fluent in 178 languages due to autism. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. I thought 6 languages was a lot. That's incredible. Wow. Okay. Gosh. That's incredible. like Rain Man with languages. Yeah. It is incredible. So just following down my line. Got yeah, everybody, you'll be proud of me. I have managed to drink about half of my tea before it went cold. Let's move it up a little bit. Okay. There we go. So I've done 2 lines now. Got that one all the way along. And okay. Gosh, is there really? There's over 7,000 languages in the world. That's a lot of languages. Gosh. So you learn something new every day. Oh, okay, that's good, Jean. Yeah, I see both comments. So yeah, it would have. A lot of our friends like commenting mostly on Facebook, but they watch it on YouTube. So it's easier to watch on YouTube because you can watch it on your smart telly. And then a lot of our lovely ladies and gentlemen take part on the live chat on Facebook. I just need to move the last little bit up. There we go. That's my 3rd line. So I think what I'll do is I'll leave it there for this week. And so next week I'll focus on just finishing off the straight line, and then we're going to freehand perforate all around these little scrolls and these little bits here, and then all the way around the outside. So there's quite a there, and then it's going to end up looking something like this, hopefully. There we go. So that's, let me come out a little bit. Okay, so that's where we are now. So for the rest of the week, be proud of me. I've got my little list of things that's going on for the rest of the week. Okay, so 2 p.m. today, Paul and myself, we're going to be showing you some more Japanese treasures. And then Wednesday, Barbara is going to be on Hobby Maker between 1 and 3. So that's tomorrow, 2-hour show. And then on Friday, 13th of March, is 10 and 2. It's going to be Paul and myself because it's Barbara's birthday. So yeah, Paul and myself will be doing some nice little groovy bits and pieces and showing some other little bits off. So that's cool. There's probably a few stamps and some groovy. So that'll be fun. So it's been lovely to see all of our newbies on Groovi Worldwide. So Groovi Tuesday today, we're on every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. So if you ever want to come back and see our Groovi show, it's always at 10 o'clock on Tuesdays. So that's what's happening for the rest of the week. So thank you to the lovely Jane for keeping everybody apprised of anything going on in the chat and passing through any information to me. And yes, so Paul and myself will be back this afternoon at 2 p.m. Thank you everybody for joining me on Groovi Tuesday. It's been lovely to see all your lovely comments as usual, and have a ramble for an hour. And yeah, so see everybody at 2 o'clock. Take care, everyone.